Hello everybody and welcome to JGod Gaming. Today's video is how to get better at Call of Duty World War II. This is where I help subscribers by breaking down their gameplay step by step and identifying some areas that they can actually work on to get better and things that they actually do well. So if at any point you do enjoy the video or find any of the tips helpful, go ahead and hit that like button. I do have a goal for this video of about 200 likes, so if we can get there, I'd be very appreciative of that. If you are new to the channel, typically I cover Call of Duty news, in-game updates, as well as best class setups, other tip and trick videos. And then I spend a lot of time doing these subscriber breakdowns. If any of that seems interesting to you, make sure you hit that subscribe button with those notifications on, or if you're enjoying the video throughout, make sure you hit that before you click away. If you're interested in having your gameplay broken down, go ahead and check out the description for this video and it'll give you some details on how to make sure you get your video uploaded so I'll be able to review it. So let's go ahead and get into the gameplay. First one we'll go ahead and take a look at is their class setup. So right here they're running the Airborne Division with Clandestine as the basic training. And then the weapon is the Duck Soup, which is a epic PPSH variant. They're running the suppressor with rapid fire and steady aim. Just based off the look of this is not a class I would personally use, and this is not one I would recommend this player using. What you really want to look at is, do things give you more kills or do they prevent deaths? Based on how they use this class setup, Airborne caused a couple deaths, I think 3 or 4 deaths, and it only caused an additional kill. So overall, the net positive there is not good. And then Clandestine was never useful and was not helpful. And then when they switched to the other class, they didn't end up having Clandestine on that one. And then as far as the attachments go, they're not bad at all. I prefer extended mags over maybe steady aim, but especially since they're running Airborne, steady aim would have been helpful, but they're not necessarily using it the style that would make the most sense. So let's go ahead and start talking about some of the gameplay. So they just died and they're coming off a spawn and they start running to the middle of the map. And that's not a bad decision, especially since you have an SMG. The middle of the map is a strong area for SMG to be. You have less sight lines, your gun can perform better. You're gonna see there's a guy right here on the right side. And they kind of shoot there, but then they just let it go. And then right here, instead of getting the kill, obviously they get shotgun. So there's a downside to running Airborne. They ran right into that kill, trusting the hip fire. And almost certainly, no matter what you were using, you were gonna die to that shotgun because it's a one-shot kill. I skip ahead just a little bit because I want to point out this clip. They actually got shotgunned earlier, right? So now they're backpedaling. They're kind of against the wall and they end up taking out that shotgunner. They were in much better position. I want to point that out, how the player actually adjusted to the actual opponent. A lot of times people struggle with that part. In this part, they end up naded. There's really not much they could have done. They're kind of camping it out. That Airborne, which means you should be running through the spawn, especially since you have the suppressor. At least they're using the suppressor, but they're not really running the route that would make sense for Airborne. In this particular scenario, they kind of run into the spawn. They know that all the enemies are there because all their teammates are behind them. And instead of actually clearing through the spawn, they come around here. They do get an easy kill, and then they actually get a chance to loop around and kill this guy coming out of spawn. But for the most part, they should have gone through and cleared the spawn first because the spawn was so empty. So many people running mountain, probably could have got some other kills. And right now it's kind of cleaning it up. Right here though, their sensitivity seems a little too high. They end up missing a little bit of shots there. And then when they come in and try and snap on this next person, there's a couple missed shots. And then they kind of track them and they end up getting them just because they're so close. But right there, they're running Airborne with steady aim. They could have just hip fired the guy, but they don't do it. So again, why I don't think they should be running steady aim. Another reason they shouldn't be running Airborne. I have a few examples of the sensitivity probably being just a hair too high. They probably got to lower at least by 1 because there are scenarios where they just miss shots. They lose control of their actual crosshairs and kind of end up running into a wall even. So we'll go ahead and get into those examples. At this point in the match, they actually make a decision to switch the classes up, so we'll take a look at that. They still stick with Airborne, but instead of the PPSH, they switch to the MP40, and instead of Clandestine, they get Hustle. We saw a majority of that first part of the match, and they didn't really get much out of Clandestine. Didn't really get much out of Airborne, and as you can see, the attachments are pretty much the same. They got the suppressor, rapid fire, and steady aim. So let's go ahead and see how they perform a little differently in this second half. If you are enjoying the video or any of the tips so far, do remember to hit that like button. Like I said, I do have a goal of 200. If you can help me get there, it'd be very appreciated. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button with those notifications on. So this first example that we'll look at is you'll see that they end up getting into a gunfight here, and they do get a recon plane, but they don't call it in right away. They reload. And then they go ahead and get in position and they end up taking this guy out. But they do take some damage. So they got 2 hit markers now and a third. Right now they should have been patient, backed up, called in a recon. And they just run right back out in cover when someone was already shooting at them. That scenario is probably one of the hardest things that people struggle with consistency wise. A lot of times people re-engage versus just being patient and waiting. I know it's not as fun to just wait. But in the end, you would have had a little bit longer streak. You were already on a streak, so you would have been leaning towards getting that fighter pilot and then maybe even that glide bomb, which could have got you maybe 1 kill each. So you would have actually got a couple more kills without dying. This next scenario coming up is probably the only kill that came from actually having Airborne. They ran through the guys shooting, had steady aim, got the kill. That is in the entire match. Steady aim help. So consider that information when I was talking about the class setup in the beginning. Think about things. Are they actually getting you more kills or are you dying more? That was 1 kill out of an entire match. And then there's several deaths that could have been prevented by other things. Maybe covering your back with more bouncing betties by running expeditionary instead of just sprinting around the map. Maybe there's other scenarios that could have helped. It just really depends as you go through. Maybe having Blitzkrieg, they would already have that 5 or 6 streak. They would have had fighter plane, they would have taken people out. If they had counter recon, they could have actually shot out some people's airplanes when they were in the air and the other people had recon. Right here, we're going to see the sensitivity being just a little too high. Here's another example of that. You're going to see they lost all control of the weapon, and that happens another time. We're going to go ahead and see that in this next example where they actually run into the wall. You see right there, the sensitivity is just too high. They're not able to control it on a consistent basis, so they got to lower it at least 1 tick. Then right here's a map awareness play. All these teammates are up top to the right. There's no reason for him to go up to this right stairs. Runs that way when all the enemies are in spawn. So that's another type of map awareness situation where you just gotta kind of figure out, does that make sense to run that way? And in this scenario, it did not. You got to make sure you position yourself, know where your teammates are, know where the enemies are. Just based off that mini map, even though there wasn't a ton of map awareness going on, there was enough to tell you that all the enemies were in front of you. This next example is a combination of running airborne, steady aim, and sensitivity too high. Right here, they're trusting, they're not aiming down sight. They don't really get that same assist you get by aiming down sight with that slowdown. So a lot of times those gunfights would have been won 100%. They just aimed down sight, shot, didn't try to focus on actually doing the hip fire thing with airborne. So airborne actually costed them a kill there, and it cost him a death. Let's go ahead and move into a couple recommendations. One is just to lower that sensitivity. I already kind of explained why. Also, when it comes to class setup, just stop using airborne. I know you'll probably like to run around a lot faster, but it's really not that much faster for what you're getting. It's not really helping you in your gameplay. I would definitely recommend switching over to armored or expeditionary so you can get those extra nades. You can get that flinch reduction. You can get that nade protection. There's a couple things that you can get with either of those that are better than what you're getting with airborne currently. I would drop the steady aim and not really focus on that. Based on what I saw from your basic trainings, I would just say drop the ones you use completely and just use Ordnance and Blitzkrieg. Those are going to be a lot more effective for you to go on those longer streaks, give you better map awareness and control of the map. And then as far as your class setup goes, the really only change I would make for that is dropping steady aim for maybe extended mags or quick draw if you prefer to have a faster ADS. But that's pretty much it. If you guys did enjoy the video, remember to hit that like button. If you want to get your gameplay reviewed, read the description down below. Make sure you subscribe if you are new to the channel and haven't done so already with those notifications on. See you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.